Well, Islamist militant groups are reported to be tightening their grip on Rohingya refugee camps like these in Bangladesh. Now, they're said to be fighters who belong to the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, or the ARSA, and they're reported to be brutally enforcing their own strict Sharia rules in such camps. Now, you will recall perhaps that 750,000 Rohingya fled from Rakhine State in Myanmar to Bangladesh, that following the brutal crackdown by the Myanmar army 2 years ago. ARSA has been blamed for the lethal attacks on Myanmar's soldiers, which sparked that clampdown. A team of DW News reporters went to Bangladesh to find out more.
Nighttime in Bangladesh's Rohingya camps. Young men patrol the streets on the lookout for criminal gangs. We've heard tales of murder, abduction and rape. We're defying the curfew on our way to meet a woman whose husband was shot dead nearby.
My husband used to fight for the Rohingyas. He had an open ear for everyone's problems and wanted to stop lawlessness in the camps. That's why some people felt insulted.
To protect the woman's identity, we cannot say who he was. But one thing is clear, he angered a powerful group operating in the camps.
My husband was shot after evening prayers. Those who killed him were members of the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army.
But before we can ask any further questions about the militant group, our fixer tells us it's time to leave. A Rohingya guides us along back alleyways to make sure we aren't being followed. Once we reach our car, he disappears. We want to meet a member of the militants that our guides were so afraid of. It took weeks for a contact to arrange an opportunity in a secluded spot outside of the camps. We can't verify if the man really is who he claims to be, but his story checks out with other accounts. He doesn't want his face filmed. He's too scared his commander might find out he gave us an interview.
Some people came to our village and asked whether we want to govern ourselves. They told us you don't have any rights in your own country. We are here to help you take control of your land. If you agree, come and join us. That's how they convinced us. They also gave us arms training. After that, I joined them.
That was in 2017. Shortly after he joined, the conflict between ARSA and the Myanmar army escalated, forcing hundreds of thousands of Rohingya to flee to Bangladesh. Among them, ARSA insurgents, like this man. Today, they are trying to impose strict rules in the camp. Tell him that is incredibly...
If ARSA finds informants for Myanmar in the camps, they are killed.
Women are also threatened.
If we see a woman dressed incorrectly, and if we see her arms, we can hit her.
In the capital, Dhaka, we confront the foreign minister with the stories we've heard. It's always a little bit like...
There is no ARSA in Bangladesh. There is in Rakhine State, in Myanmar, not here. If there is any, we will pick him up or her up, and will send that individual to Myanmar.
So the militant tells us some 3,500 fighters live in the camps, a figure we can't verify. We want to know why he agreed to talk to us.
If we cause trouble and kill people here, the government of Bangladesh will also start killing us. That's why I disagree with ARSA's actions here. I want to fight in Myanmar.
Faced with the might of the Myanmar army across the river, this isn't a fight they are likely to win. The stage is set for a refugee crisis that isn't going away soon.
Joining us now from Bonn is DW's Arafatul Islam, one of the investigative reporters who filed that report for us. Good day to you, Arafatul. We just heard the Bangladeshi foreign minister there saying that there's no ARSA, there's no Islamist militants in the camp. why are they taking that position?
Bangladeshi authorities are trying to avoid conflict with the neighboring countries. The government doesn't want its territory to be used by any foreign militant group. It insists on a peaceful solution to the Rohingya crisis. This could be the reason why the foreign minister of Bangladesh categorically denied any ARSA activities in his country.
Okay, and now based on what you found there in Bangladesh, is there any way to know how strong ARSA is? Could they launch, for example, effective attacks in Myanmar across the border against military or civilian targets?
What we have learned from the militant we interviewed and some other sources is that ARSA has trained fighters, but the group doesn't have enough ammunition, so it's highly unlikely that it can launch attacks in Rakhine anytime soon. However, the group has a strong influence on the Rohingya refugees living in Bangladesh. ARSA is a name that quickly ends conversations in the camps. Refugees tend to avoid any discussion about the group publicly. Allegedly, it has informers in every camp, and this includes children as well.
Okay, the informants are, of course, very worrisome. Now, you were out in the camps, and that was a concern for you, certainly, after the curfew especially. You heard the reports of rapes, of murders. Can you characterize for us, can you flesh it out a bit, how bad the security situation is?
The environment is tense there at night, and the Rohingya refugees try to avoid going out of their tents. We saw the security forces frequently patrolling the area, and there has been news of security forces killing refugees in crossfires. So the situation is really tense there at night.
Okay, refugees being killed in the crossfire. Certainly, a lot of them must want to return home. Are any refugees able to return to Myanmar right now?
The government launched a repatriation drive while we were there last month, but it failed because the Rohingya refugees don't want to return until their demands are met. They want to the Myanmar government to recognize them as legitimate ethnic group. They also want the country's citizenship. However, Bangladesh's foreign minister told us that there will be new attempts of Rohingya repatriation in the coming months, and it looks like the government of the country is very much relying on China to make it successful in the future.
Arafatul Islam, thanks very much for being with us this morning and for looking into this as part of our investigative team in Bangladesh. Thanks a lot.